Oh, I should have actually gotten this together before I went live. But yeah, here I am. I think it's going to be a minute before y'all start to join because this is not scheduled. I just felt like talking, so here I am. I had a very, very eventful, I don't know why I'm doing this right now, but I had a very eventful couple days. And Lord, let's see here. Okay. So hey y'all, hey. For those of you who don't know, my name is Lish two times. And so yeah, I'm a independent music artist. I be outside. I know a lot of people I used to manage, and when you manage talent, it's really hard when you have talent because you realize how a lot of people do not take their craft serious. So I decided that I'm gonna just go ahead and start putting my own stuff out. And it's been going really good. I danced on a lot of blogs, went on tour. And I've been moving, shaking, and baking, but that's not even what I want to talk about or whatever. I was feeling moved to discuss, you know, there's a lot of people who get a lot of accolades, and like folks always come at, like, even people like the Kardashians who have millions of followers, millions of dollars, and they're like, but they have no talent. Like, how did they get this? And how did they reach these heights, without necessarily having talent? And I'm not saying that they don't have talent, because I think that anybody who has the ability to raise that much money and that much capital, you got to have some kind of talent. So when you talk about people like the Kardashians and Jenners, and even some of these vixens who are no longer vixens, like the Bernice Burgos, people who don't necessarily do anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, initially, because nowadays we know what the Jenners and the Kardashians do. But initially, it was kind of like, okay, what is it exactly? Like, what is their brand exactly? We were trying to figure it out with Keeping Up with the Kardashians. If you take it back to like season one, season two, it was more like, okay, let's figure this thing out. Like, what are they? What are they doing? But then as time progressed, the Kardashians built a brand. So some would say they got clout from Kim Kardashian having like a tape, but not really. They were born into a family of a certain status. And, their father was a lawyer. He did a high profile case. They had a mother who knows how to marry well, but that's a different video for another time. And there's also um, a lot of people like them that have brands, and they single-handedly were able to build brands because of a family name, because of somebody that they're related to that has talent, but they themselves may not necessarily have a talent. They may be the sibling of a music artist, or they may be the former hairstylist, or whatever the case may be. Actually, no, hairstylist, that's a talent, that's a skill. But they get these bookings, they get these deals, and it's like, wait a second, this person doesn't even do anything. How on the earth, why are people intrigued to follow them? Usually it's because of a relationship or a correlation. And people who are building brands, they pay people with a following. Not all the time because of their talent, not because of certain accolades. It's because of the fact that, they've built a brand for themselves. And a lot of people who build brands for themselves do not necessarily have a talent. Now, if you happen to have a talent to coincide with that, that's great. Like the B Simone, she's a comedian. She also likes to do music, and some of her followers like her music. But then she started doing other things, the book, and then the book failing because of what had happened with the, what is it called? Plagiarism. But people become intrigued in you for whatever reason, and that brand, and boom, it's like explosive. It's like, you ain't going nowhere, sweetheart. But it's like people like Bernice Burgos, and I bring up her, like, and I have no issues with women like that, but She was a star tender, aka a bartender at a strip club. She doesn't sing, she doesn't dance, she doesn't act, even though I think she did do like little speaking roles in movies. But she has developed a powerful brand. For those of you who follow pop culture and hip hop culture, like follow people will follow you and your brand just off the strength of who you're associated with. And people who are smart will maximize that into dollars. So those who don't necessarily have talent, but they're around a lot of talented people, they're socialites. They're at all the it parties. They're at the 40/40 club. They know the club promoters. They know the club owners. You know, maybe they even spend some money in those venues. Oh, and if you have money, it's a lot easier to climb that ladder. Because when the promoters like you and they love you because you come and support their parties and events, you spend money at the door, you spend money at the bar, you buy tables, whatever it is that you do. Promoters are powerful people that are essentially professional socialites, but they're getting paid. There are socialites that are paying just to be down, like Brandy. Okay. Um, they're paying to be down. You know, they're paying because they want the spotlight, but they don't necessarily have a talent, but they're associated with a lot of talent. Like, I know some wealthy people, they happen to be Caucasian, who are busy, they're in business. But you know what they love? To be able to brag to their friends about who they met, who they know, who they have access to. Why? Because it's cool. And then there's those who don't necessarily want to be a business person. There's those who don't want to be a singer, don't want to be a dancer, don't want to be an actress, none of that. But they just like being around whoever the it girl is at the time. They like being around whoever, is popping. And there's nothing wrong with that. They like to keep up with the Joneses. Those are socialites. These are people that literally do nothing except for party. There's a show called Party and Bullshit, pardon my French. But like that's literally their lifestyle. And they will build a brand from just being at all the it parties looking good. Club promoters in New York City, I feel like started like that whole, and maybe LA too. I feel like that whole socialite culture started to become like prominent like early 2000s. I don't really know. I was still in grade school, but that's when like certain reality shows were starting to emerge, and that's when like, obviously keeping up with the Kardashians I think came out. I think I was a freshman or something in high school. And then there was what else? I keep using them as an example because they're like the most popular and the longest running. Like, oh, there was the Osbournes. I used to love watching the Osbournes. Okay, so socialite culture, I feel like really developed with the expansion of reality TV. Reality TV really took the cake when it came to um helping those who don't have a talent. They're not singers, they're not dancers, they're not actresses, even though socialites sometimes do start to fall into those categories because the more that they're around talent, the more they're around celebrities, they get inspired and they just want to do things. That's cool. But there's a fine line between saying I'm a socialite and I just like being like, it's a fine line between saying I'm a socialite. I like being at all the it parties. I like to spend money to stay next to this person, that person. Okay. And then there's those who may be clout chasers, the people who want to get lit because they started a fight with this person. The person who loves saying that they got beef with this person and that person barely even knows their existence or what's going on in their life. Or it could be somebody who used to be a friend or an acquaintance of somebody who is now famous, but they don't have that access anymore. So they become thirsty. It's just something about a person who lost access. It's just something about them that makes them so thirsty that they crave a piece of, whatever that is. And it's almost like they feel abandoned or like they feel insulted because they were left behind. And You cute, but you look like you in the what? Rakadushi? I don't even know what that is. But anyways, say. I don't know what that is. But when a person used to know a celebrity, but they don't have that access anymore, they tend to fall into the category of a clout chaser. They tend to fall into the category of an individual who could potentially be a socialite if they could access them to be social, but they tend to do things that are unorthodox, sometimes borderline degrading, just to get some type of shine, just to get some type of attention. And it's usually not the good kind. It's usually like the wrong type of attention. And that's why I think that it's like clout. I don't, people don't associate the term clout with a positive, definition. And I think that clout and popularity are two things. Like some people want to be known. Some people just want to be seen. But when you want clout, it's like you want accolades for work that you did not put in. You want to be acknowledged. But it's like for what? You were like a blast from the past. You were somebody that was around for a segment or a stage in the life. And now you're not there. And it's like if you want to get there or you want to be there and you want to stand next to these so-called great inspirational people, you yourself have to be inspired to cause something to come into existence. But you have to do it for yourself. And that's another thing with clout chasers is like they tend to want something handed to them. They want like they tend to do things for like a 15-minute, 15 minutes of fame. And then when that 15 minutes is over, they're infamous and they're not even allowed to sit with us no more. Like you can't sit with us. And I'm saying us and I'm putting myself in that category because even though I'm not where I want to be, like baby, I sit at the table. You know what I'm saying? Like I sit at the table with a lot of different people and and I watch how they move and I learn from them and I become inspired like wow, look how they've grown. They're on a whole nother level. There's girls that came up with us, and I say us like came up with like me, Cardi, Ashanti, Shanice, Ash Cash Legit, like that came up with us that are kicking themselves in the buttocks right now because they don't have that access to Bel Khalees no more. They love to say, oh, we was cool or we had this beef, but they wish that they had an access, that they crave it. And a lot of people earlier on was picking internet fights, bar fights, just so they can sue. Like it's just that's that clout stuff. It's like, dang, sis, no self-respect of how you get it. You just want it. You want to be a rapper, but you don't want to put in the work. You rather just get some clout and then hope that people stumble upon your music and like it. If people don't like you, they're not going to like your product and what you're selling. And when you are a music artist, you are a brand, you're selling something. And people fail to realize that being likable, people they gotta like you or like something about you. Because even though some people will follow you and they don't even like you, they gotta like something about you. There's gotta be something about you that makes them like lock in, tune in. But clout chasers, a lot of times, it's like they do something that makes them infamous, that turns a bunch of people off. And when they turn those people off, they got that 15 minutes of fame and then that's it. No one's inviting you to the cookout no more. The cookouts, the barbecues, the slumber parties, the tea parties, none of that. And I think that it's also a level of desperation. I think that comes with that. Um, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be acknowledged. I think that what people fail to realize is wanting to be acknowledged is a part of human nature. Like some of us are a little bit more low key because we want to be acknowledged for things that we value. Like me, I'll use myself as an example. Like I'm a music artist, but I'm heavily involved with fashion and all that kind of stuff. So in my community, people may know me for music. Okay, that's cool, that's cute, or whatever. But then it's like, oh, but do you see what she be wearing when she step out? And it don't matter who she's stepping out with, she's still gonna be Lish. I'm still LS at a dollar sign regardless. So when people allow you into their space and into their circles, it's like I'm not searching for clout because I'm not going to do anything that's going to hang myself. And that's where people lose sight of the prize and of the end goal. People don't realize that likability, even when your product is mediocre at best, will open doors for you that, mere popularity could never. You could have all the followers in the world, but it doesn't mean they're going to buy anything from you. It doesn't mean that they really support you. They just like watching you. You know how there's, like they say, there's a difference between when people are laughing with you and when people are laughing at you? Yeah, like that. And I think that people who go for the clout a lot of times ends up getting laughed at. So there's people laughing at you, they're not laughing with you. You know what I'm saying? People may be watching you, but they don't want to consume anything from you. And I think that a lot of people also misconstrue that. What's the point of having a bunch of people want to watch you? You know what I mean? And they're going to talk about you. Sometimes they make it fun of you. They use you as memes and all kinds of examples of where they don't want to be in life. You got all these followers and all these people watching you, but they don't want to consume anything from you. They don't want to buy your music. They don't want to come to your concerts. They don't want to buy a t-shirt, handbag, jewelry, whatever it is you sell, retreats. They don't want none of your services, okay? They just watch you. They don't even double tap. There's a lot of people who call themselves influencers because of their numbers, but they got a lot of lurkers, a lot of watchers, but the people, they have clout. They're not even a socialite because people don't want to socialize with you. When you know what I'm saying? Like when you are a socialite, you're fun. They could rely on you to probably spend some money. They could rely on you to just be a pretty face and make the situation look good. And I'm not talking about men. Because as a woman, I like to be around other pretty women. When we step out together, hello. Okay, there is nothing like when beautiful women do what beautiful women do. Just step out into the room and just make it shine or whatever. Okay. Um, yeah, that's being a socialite. And then there's those who are entertainers, and that's another thing too. Just because there's people who are entertainers because they got a personality. People like to watch them. They're entertaining. And they may not necessarily be actors. Some of them are musicians, some of them are actors. People who are entertained by movies and film and things of that, but they're not necessarily any of the traditional forms of entertainment. They could literally be somebody that folks just come to. Wendy Williams is an entertainer. The Wendy Williams show is probably was one of my favorite shows to watch. If I had time during the day, I would watch me some Wendy. I want to see the shoot cam. I want to see the hot topics. I want to see me some Wendy. She is funny when she throws her 2 cents towards the bill, honey. And that's an entertainer. That's the reason why she made her name and her mark in radio, because she was entertaining to listen to. So I think that a lot of us also misconstrue what it is to be talented. There's certain things you cannot teach. There's certain things you cannot learn. Okay? A person can learn how to sing. Even the worst of singers can learn how to sing because your voice is an instrument in itself. Okay? You can learn how to sing if you're dedicated and you're committed to wanting to know how to sing. You can learn maybe how to dance. And if you can't really learn how to get the rhythm, you can learn the steps. So I would say you can learn how to dance, but you can't learn likability. Maybe you can learn to just shut up a little bit and people may not like you, but they may not dislike you either. You know what I'm saying? You cannot learn personality. It's either you got it or you don't, honey. It's either you got that je ne sais quoi or you don't. You know what I mean? And some of us got it and some of us don't. And it's cool. Like everything ain't for everyone. Like I wish personally I had like a voice like Jennifer Hudson or somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, or who else not using a voice like they should be using a voice right now? Just all these beautiful voices like Tweet. I don't think she's making music anymore. Carrie Hilson, like all these beautiful singers out here that's not using a voices or whatever. You could just pass it on over to Lish. I wish I could, well, I can't say I wish because if I were to take vocal lessons and, invest in that skill, I can learn that. If I want to play the drums, I can learn that. You know what I mean? It's like textbook knowledge. How studious are you? How committed are you to learning it? How committed are you to the art? But back to what I was saying though, you know, entertainers, you know, that have a platform and that, really take off, it's not like it used to be. And social media changed the game. YouTube changed the game. Streaming services like Netflix and Hulu changed the game and made ways for a lot of independent talents that may not necessarily want to read a script, but they're great at improv. That was one of my things. Like I took theater arts when I was at Nassau and I took like acting and stuff. And I loved improv. And I realized, like, why do I love improv? Because it's a personality thing. I feel like it's about how I interpret what you gave me to give back. You know what I mean? You gave me a situation, you may have given me a conversation, and I'm just going to wing it based on who you told me I'm supposed to be or my character is supposed to be like. If you tell me I'm supposed to be, I don't know, but it's just that's the reason why I liked it. But hold on a second. Oh, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. All right, y'all, I'm coming back. Gotta bear with it, sis. Okay. Um, but yeah, like I'm sorry, I have to step away for a second. This was not a plan live, by the way. I just want to put that out there. I just was inspired to kind of talk about it because I was just recently like outside. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, and I think that sometimes people misconstrue those of us who actually, care to be involved socially. You know what I'm saying? There's some people who just legit just like to watch. And I'm convinced that the people who just like to watch because that's just what they do. But then there's those who are like genuine like supporters and consumers of like the different personalities that they like. And a lot of us struggle. We struggle to understand like who is our target audience, who is our audience. We just, especially as a creative, we just want to create. We just want to focus on the art. And if you pay attention to like entertainers, particularly musicians and, singers, rappers, they don't get to just put out whatever song they want to put out whenever they want. They have usually a marketing goal or they have like a rollout. I think is what they call it sometimes. Depends on, I'm not at certain levels, so I can't really speak on everything. But when you have a understanding of what it is you want to achieve and what it is like you like what like everything you do should be intentional. So when you understand like, hey, is it that you just want to be famous? Do you just want to be a celebrity? Like I'm trying to understand what it is you're doing because that desperation is what will then eventually come off like, okay, you're just doing this for clout. Then there's those who are just like socialites. Like some of us are just like me. I feel like I'm a social being. So if for whatever reason I couldn't do music no more, I can't act. I can't do none of this stuff. I feel like socialite life isn't horrible outside of the fact that, I'm getting a little too old to be outside like that if it ain't involving a check. And then there's like true entertainers. Entertainers are people who invest into developing skills. They invest into their talent. They invest into having structure to what they feed the masses. And we cannot neglect that fact that entertainers are people who live to, like, they live literally to do what it is that they do. Even people who don't, like, there's people like Denzel Washington who will turn down like a dozen movies before he takes one. But he's, even in the time where he is doormat, he is still an actor. He is still active, I'm sure. I remember meeting Malik Yoba. He was joining a few of us with that. I think I had dinner. It was a bunch of us. It was at this restaurant called Butter, New York City, Meatpacking District. I met, shout out to my boy Ty Muhammad. He invited me to dinner, and I met like Anthony Anderson, Lorenz Tate, Malik Yoba, and it was a couple other people there. But I said that to say, like, Malik Yoba was teaching at NYU at the time. And that's another thing that people forget. Entertainers don't only entertain. You know what I mean? They have side hustles. They use their skills, their expertise, and their respectability, something that clout chasers don't have, their respectability to gain more respect and to gain more leverage and more income. And I think that a lot of us forget and neglect that part. So as an actor who's been in several films, TV shows, the whole enchilada, of course NYU would hire you in there, to teach acting classes or seminars and things like that, because that's your lifestyle. That's what you do. You are a master of it because people pay you to do that. You have a skill. And you know what? People are willing to pay you to teach them what you know. And I think that, a lot of times folks be like getting the game, twisted. They get the game twisted, and they lose sight of the fact that when you're an entertainer and you choose a life of being in the public eye, it's like a continuation. It's a continuous thing. Like, you're always going to be that person to some people. No matter what role Martin Lawrence plays, he's always going to, well, he always plays comedic roles. But no matter what role Martin Lawrence plays, he's always going to be Martin, because his whole entertainment career was based off of that. And he has yet to deter from that lane. Like, he's a comedian. All the movies that he's in, even when he want to be serious, we're not taking him serious. I mean, his brand has been solidified as a king of comedy. Whereas someone like Will Smith did not stay in the comedy. Like, I felt like his role on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it was funny because he was silly and he was goofy. And does he play silly roles? Absolutely. But he ventured off into other avenues to, like, diversify his catalog. And that's also something that entertainers do. Like, you find ways to continue to create and be captivating. Like, when I say it's a lifestyle, like, baby, it is legit a lifestyle. And as I'm speaking to you, like, I get inspired because I'm like, wow, I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. And when you think about how much work is really involved in, your long-term goals, meeting those long-term goals and retaining, wow. And that's the reason why, all of that to say, that's the reason why a lot of people end up just going for the clout. They try to take their little 15 minutes of fame, rather it's sleeping with somebody's boyfriend, husband, getting pregnant by somebody who got, a little bit of fame, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of people who go for the clout because look how much time elapsed from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Will Smith to Independence Day Will Smith to the Pursuit of Happiness Will Smith. You understand? Like, look how much time had to elapse from those variations of roles and developments in a person's entertainment career. Look at how much development had to occur as an entertainer to be successful, to say, yo, my brand is solidified. This is what I can do for life now. Imagine that. And then, how about, I didn't even check to see if you can do filters on YouTube Live, because I just realized, oh my God, you can? Oh no, this ain't a filter. This is just to change the color of my picture, I think. Anyways, I was about to get excited. Like, ew, let me find out. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? No, I don't want to stop streaming. I just want this off of my screen. But anyhow, and that's the reason why a lot of people go for the clout. It's easy to say, I'm just going, I hate to say this because I actually have a lot of respect for the Kardashians, but a lot of people try to make it seem like, oh, they better thank Ray J for their whole branding right now, right? But some girls really be like, oh, I'm a Kim Kardashian my way to the top, not realizing like Kim Kardashian already had a nice little foundation. So that little tape that leaked and got out and made her viral for a little while, that was not a 15 minutes of fame situation, because her name, her last name held weight. People were familiar with her family. You know what I mean? Like, people knew who the Kardashians were. Lil Ray Ray and Pookie and them, who don't watch the news and didn't follow the trials and stuff, probably didn't know who they were until the tape. But I promise you, like, those people did not just go the clout way. Even though there were very clouty things that may have transpired from the Kardashians to get where they are. Then we're going to take it back to socialites, okay? And the thing about socialites is that reason why I think socialites are like super duper dope and amazing, because a lot of socialites, like I look at people like, I can't think of her name, Raleigh. I look at her like a socialite, but she has a shoe brand, if I'm not mistaken. And she's able to leverage relationships with her brand. She now is a brand, I guess. And then her shoes, and you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different things that socialites have to benefit from that lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, it's not only about, oh, I just want to be seen with these people who are popping. It's not only about, I just want to be outside all the time. I just want to live a lifestyle of lavish and partying. It's sometimes about just being able to leverage relationships, being put in a powerful position, because you got so many relationships with so many dope people that folks just rock with you. Folks will buy your brand because of the brands that you're associated with. Yeah. And but that takes strategy. You have to be strategic, because it could also be misconstrued. Like, all right, what they want, you know? I'm tired. I really need to just hop in a shower and go to bed, because I had a very long day. And it's still going. So I really feel like I should be hopping in the shower and going to bed. But I felt like, since I'm up, I might as well go live. I need these watch time hours. I'm trying to reach 4,000. So if y'all want to just go ahead and watch my YouTube channel while y'all go, like, leave my YouTube channel running while y'all go to sleep, I greatly appreciate it. Okay. Yeah. But there's definitely a difference. Socialites can leverage their relationships with celebrities and stuff like that for their own personal gain. Yeah, they spend money to be in the clubs next to these people, but they can leverage those relationships because maybe they want to open a club one day. Maybe they want to have a fashion brand and they want to get that person, these people in their clothes and get a little mention off the love. You know, like some people just really like being mixy. Like, I consider myself a social person. And even though I'm not really interested in being super mixy, I like the idea of hosting like dinner parties and, you know, private events, exclusive events, and having the power to say who can and cannot come. Because we don't always want, the thing about it is, and as I mature, that I'm learning is that you don't always want people to just feel comfortable with you, just feel comfortable accessing you, and you know, it's a work in progress because it's something that I'm still learning how to properly curve people without necessarily hurting feelings or being disrespectful or acting like I'm better than you. But sometimes you really are better than those people. Like some of those people, child. Like sometimes it's like, yo, how in the world did we even become acquainted? Like, you know, how did I become cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Cause we not really even um the same. Oh, this is filters, right? Is it? Let me see. This is normal. Look, I'm still learning the whole YouTube stuff, so y'all gotta bear with me. You know, y'all gotta bear with me. Y'all gotta bear with a sister. Cause oh, look at this one. This one might like make me look like cinnamon. No, I don't like that. I don't like that either. All right, these filters is like failing me. I don't think I deserve a filter. Yeah, I don't like these. Yuck. Or maybe I should have just cleaned my lens or something. I can't. Maybe my lens is dirty. I don't know. But anyways, I'm enjoying figuring out this YouTube life though. You know, it's definitely a cute little journey that I'm on, and I think that with the right support, I think it could be like a whole situation or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think it could be a really good thing. I need to figure out also what kind of equipment I should be invested in because I look at some folks and it looks like they have like entire production set up. And that is because they are serious about what they do. You know what I mean? Like when you're an entertainer, and rather you want to call people who are in the public speaking space entertainers or not, like I kind of almost, you know, put them in an entertaining space because if their content was boring, no matter how valuable the information is, folks are not going to retain the information. It's not palatable because it becomes disinteresting. So I will put public speakers and, you know, motivational people who are creative enough to retain an audience in that entertainment space. So when they take their stuff serious, I'm not hungry. I got ADHD up here. But when they take their stuff serious, yeah, they invest in what it is they profess that they are. You know, it is what it is. You know what I also forgot that I could do? Share this live. Like that I could actually. Oh my gosh, did it pause my live? Okay, no. Oh, so when I share the live, it automatically. Let me see here. Ooh, I'm having fun learning this whole YouTube thing. I wish I thought to share this live like about, well, how long I've been doing this? Oh my God, I've been live for 40 minutes. Holy cow. How you like those apples? But I just realized that I could have definitely had shared this live like when I first started. See, it's little things like this that, you know, But anyway, so I guess at this point I could do like a nice little recap. Remember to guard your privacy. Da, 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 da. Why does YouTube keep doing that? Okay, whatever. Whatever's clever. Y'all see the view from my little New York City apartment or whatever. You see that little view back there. I just be feeling so blessed. Um, Cause it'd be like literally the simple things. Like I'm so blessed. I'd be like, oh my God, look how beautiful my couch is. Oh my God, I'm so blessed. Or I'd be like, oh my goodness, look at the view from my apartment. Oh my God, I'm so blessed. Like when you start to just live a life of gratitude, that's another thing. When you start to live a life of gratitude, and I'm learning because I realize that I have been like an entitled little spoiled little brat, and I think that my mom raised me that way intentionally. I don't know why she would do such a thing, but she did, and like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I love my little raggedy. I'd be like, I love my little raggedy apartment, but it's not raggedy. I'm blessed, you know? And I really like to host people and stuff. Like I'd be like, oh, I should do a game night. Like, oh, that's that socialite life. You feel me? Like invite only. You can come, but you can't. You're not invited. No, you can't sit with us. Like that's that socialite life. It's so funny because I remember when I first came back to New York and getting involved. I don't know how I met some of these people. Like I used to be out all the time with certain promoters, and I did not understand the concept of how people made money and did things as a promoter back then. My gosh, what a grind to get people to come out to your club and spend money. I would not want that job because the reality is like who wants to go out all the time, special occasions. But then there's those who are literally out all the time. You know why? There's definitely a value in being out a lot because you meet a lot of people. Think of it like this, right? And New York City is home of the hustlers. So like Le Souk used to be lit on a Monday night. That used to be the night. 510 LaGuardia place. I remember their address because I used to take cabs there so often. It's one of those type of clubs, right? Mixed crowd, trendy. You know, they got the hookahs and they do like it was lit. They had good food. They had all kinds of stuff. And a lot of people in New York City are not nine to fivers. They're not Monday through Friday nine to fivers, and they earn decent. Then there's those who are nine to fivers, but they go out like after work. So there's like the earlier crowd. Like so, like maybe they get off work like 6 o'clock. They get to happy hour somewhere, or they hang out for drinks for a little while before they go home. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's already lit at certain places. And then the crowd starts to transition into their nighttime crowd. You know what I mean? And it was a place that also had dinner. But, anyways, to get to the point is that you meet people with like so many different backgrounds. And being outside is not about, oh, I just want to meet celebrities. I just want to meet influencers. No, I might just want to meet a person who's like I met a plastic surgeon. And I remember saying, "Oh my God, what's that stuff called that you put on your eyelashes and it makes it grow?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think it's like whatever it's called." And he was like, "Oh, I could just write you a prescription for it." Okay, thank you. Even though I never used it because I had too many mixed reviews. But it's just something as simple as expanding your network. I think that being a socialite is important regardless of what lane you're in. You don't have to be an entertainer to want to be a socialite. You could be a lawyer and just thinking that you need, like maybe you want to transition from corporate law to entertainment law. And you know that being outside, you're going to meet athletes, you're going to meet, actors, you're going to meet music artists, and you are an attorney, so you can offer services at a discounted or maybe pro bono or an exchange. You know what I mean? For promo, etc. So as an attorney, being a socialite might benefit you because um, the relationships that you develop, because of certain relationships that you develop. And when you develop those relationships, your life changes. You know, when they say that your network is your net worth, it's so true. Like, there's people in the lane of being a socialite that have degrees in so many different things. They do construction, they're into real estate. You know what I mean? If you are a person that's into real estate and you go out and you're meeting people with money and who are looking to invest in different things, you know, like, you don't know that they're looking to invest in certain things, but you know they have money. You know they have disposable income. So now you can create your clientele by saying, hey, I've been out with you like 2, 3 times and I've witnessed you spend about 10 grand in the club. You know that 10 grand, there's properties XYZ place that only go for that much down, and you could buy it and flip it. You know what I'm saying? You could become a landlord with that money. Like, you're meeting people and you're creating your clientele. And in the process, maybe having a good time. And in the process, gaining some more exposure and expanding your network. And I'm learning that people who know a lot of people are winning because they know how to use people properly. There's a lot of people who don't know how to properly use people. And people be like, oh, this person is just using you. I don't mind being used. I don't want to be misused. There's a difference. Use me, honey. As long as I can use you, you can use me. But don't misuse me. And that's the reason why I think that the socialite lifestyle, people kind of get it misconstrued. They think that, oh, it's just someone looking for clout. Not all the time. Sometimes it's just people looking to expand their network. And I think that the older you get and the more friends and larger network that you acquire, your life should become more simple, because instead of having to freaking call a friend to call a friend to call a friend, now you can just pick up your phone and get anything that you need executed. Like, that's one of my personal goals, is to literally expand my network to the point where there's nothing that I cannot get without picking up my phone and calling somebody. And I have a hard time calling people and using my resources. And that's also something I'm going to get up over, because nobody ever has an issue. They don't never hesitate to ask me for nothing. They sure don't. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah. Okay. That's definitely a note to be taken. Um, Lordy McClaudy. I am tired. I think I'm going. I'm at 47 minutes. I might as well go a whole hour. You know how I do. Let me go ahead and get a full hour. For those of you who've been rocking with me, watching me, I appreciate you, because this do need the watch time. I'm trying to get to what did I say? 4,000 watch hours. Like, yo, 4,000 watch hours, please, y'all. That's what I need. You know, so when y'all come on these joints, I'm gonna start going live on YouTube a lot more too, because I feel like people really got the game messed up. People got the game messed up. And when I hear people talk about certain things, and I understand that it changes and it evolves, you know, over time, the way we look at things, it evolves, because the generations coming behind us view things completely different. Just like how people now refer to folks, heterosexual couples refer to people that they're with as their partner, not their boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance. They say my partner. I think it's personally weird. But I get it. Like, I kind of get it. I feel like language is changing and it's evolving, and the way that we interact and deal with one another is also changing and evolving. And we have to keep up with the times and understand that there's a fine line between all the stuff that's in my title. Read it. I'm tired. My brain is fried. I don't know if I'm gonna make it another 11 minutes. Whoo, chat. So I don't know. I might just like play some music for y'all and allow y'all to fill up my comment box if you're ever so kind to do so. And stuff. I don't know. Like I keep cheesing because I'm so excited to like really be. So I remember a time where I could not go live on my YouTube from my phone, and I didn't know. Like first of all, I didn't even know you could go live from YouTube. But then it was like oh, you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, and I reached 1,000 subscribers last year, and I did not go live still because I didn't like know the point, and I was like, nobody watches me on YouTube, like nobody cares. And then someone was like, just keep going live. And the more you go live, the more of a community you're going to build and the more people going to rock with you. And that's that. And even though don't nobody really pay me no mind on YouTube while I'm live, I feel like people do go and watch my lives or the replays. So that's kind of cool, I guess, you know. I appreciate that or whatever. Let's see here what we got going on. Okay. What we got going on. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, not that I don't love y'all, but a sis is legit tired. But I'm so restless. It's like It's like I'm filled with so much I want to say, but I feel like once I get started on that conversation, it's weird having this one way because I feel like I leave things out, and sometimes I leave too much um, unsaid. And I just want to put out there that anything that I said that is incorrect is just from my own human error. And anything that I said that was correct, okay, all praises due to the Most High. Yeah. Well, y'all have a great night. And this is where I bid you all a farewell. Thanks for rolling with it, sister. All right. Good night.